You're listening to WITD, the one and only podcast by a blind wrestling fan, and right now it's time for the NXT review. This week we've got Finn Balor versus Trent Severn, Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox, and in the main event, the grizzled young veterans take on the Broserweights in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals. So, chill out, have fun, and let's take a look. The show kicks off with an emotional statement from Beth Phoenix, who says that this past weekend should have been a really happy occasion. With Edge returning, they should have been celebrating, but Randy Orton had to go and spoil it. She wishes that she was at home with her husband, but he told her to go to work and do a job like a professional does. And honestly, I think that the performance that she put forward was actually really genuine sounding. She sounded emotional, and it just really worked to endear me towards Beth even more. I was hesitant about her when she first joined the NXT commentary team, but she very quickly made me realise that we do need her there on the commentary team. She's like the heart of the NXT commentary team. You've got Maura there, who's like the play-by-play, the voice of the NXT. You've got Nigel there, who's the cheeky, semi-heel guy who'll back up or at least justify the actions of the heels. And then you've got Beth there, who mostly backs up the faces, and she'll give you physical descriptions and facial expressions, and usually has an emotional response to what's going on. And I actually really think you need her there as the heart of the NXT commentary team. So I thought that this little opening with her just addressing the Randy Orton Edge situation, I just thought that it was a nice way to open the show. The other nice way to open the show was the opening match, because we got Finn Balor versus Trent Severn, which, you know, without this added Finn Balor stuff, I would have already been interested in. But my God, Finn Balor's performance over the last couple of weeks, I'd love to know what it's like to watch him physically, because audibly he's so different. I noticed it last week when he come out on NXT. He's laying down those shots, laying in the elbows, and he's just like as he's doing it. It just sounds crazy, sort of like he's like Venom, I guess, from the Spider-Man universe. Like he's gonna have his tongue like out really far, lolling to the side, and he's just spit flying everywhere and crazy eyes. And we get this match between Severn and Balor because at Worlds Collide, obviously, Balor came out to attack Gargano. Severn and Bate backed him up, and now Finn is just not having it. He's not having these two guys poke their noses in his business. And we get this short video package, exclusive video sort of thing of Trent about to be interviewed. Balor comes in with this ultra aggressiveness, just starts choking him out. He's like, "How are you, mate? How are you? Shut up, keep quiet." And he's like, he tells him to not stick his nose in his business or he'll leave him laying like he did with Gargano. Tells him that he works Wendy's. Finn Balor works at Wendy's. Oh, God. He tells him that he works Wednesdays and he'll see him when he sees him. And I was like, you should have just said, "I'll see you this week." But other than that, man, just the complete tonal change in Finn Balor has been something absolutely incredible to watch. Trent's making his entrance, and commentary put over the fact that he's got a bruised larynx from Balor's attack. Balor isn't going to wait for Trent to make his full entrance, though. He meets him on the ramp and nails him with one of his drop kicks, and commentary puts over how nastily Trent landed on his neck and shoulders, and that paints a giant target on the upper section and the neck of Trent Severn. They get into the ring, they start striking at each other. Balor comes out on top. He hits a dropkick through the ropes, a chop. He gets Trent in a chin lock. He gets a double foot stomp, but Trent kicks out of that. Trent manages to roll up Balor, but no dice there. They chop each other, and Balor eventually manages to get a sling blade, and they go to commercial. When they come back from commercial, Severn's trying to fire back up, starts hitting chops. He gets the snap half Nelson suplex, and he manages to hit the 7-star lariat, but Balor kicks out of that one. Trent sends Balor crashing into the barricade and he hits a tope. he's going up to the top rope, but he takes way too long, and Balor goes up there, meets him, brings him back down. He slams him face first into the turnbuckles, drop kicks him into the bottom one, and hits the coup de grace, and then the 1916 picks up the win. It was a short match, but I thought it was pretty intense. You could really hear them chopping each other. And every time one of them threw a strike, you could just hear it, and it sounded really vicious. Again, you can hear Balor making these guttural, crazy noises as he's going after Trent, and I love that they're playing up the fact that he's just disgusted that anyone has the balls to stand up to him. I really like that they've changed his finisher around, but that he's still using the coup de grace. I just thought that this was super effective in driving forward the Balor storyline, gives him a decent win, shows us more of what he's like now, as well as letting Trent get some TV time on NXT and show what he can do there. It was really weird not having the "Oh, Trent Severn Army" chant, because I'm so used to hearing that when he's in a match, and there was a small smattering of the crowd that tried to do it, but it never really took off. But I was glad to see Trent on NXT, and I thought that this was a really effective opening to the show. Next up, we had Shotzi Blackheart versus Deonna Purrazzo, and this was a really, really short one, as some of the NXT matches are. It's not like it's a women's division thing, so it doesn't make me too mad, because we do have these sorts of matches with the men's division as well. But it's nice to see Deonna Purrazzo on NXT TV, and I've never really been familiar with who Shotzi Blackheart is either, so this sort of gave me an image into what she's like. Apparently, according to the commentary, she comes out on a tank. Now, I'm assuming that it's not like a large tank sort of thing, but Nigel says that it is a girl tank, and I was just like, okay, this should be entertaining to see where this tank gimmick goes over the next couple of months. Shotzi is really trying to make herself seem crazy. She's like, does like the really, really high-pitched, crazy scream. She's doing wolf noises. Deonna Purrazzo comes down, and Beth talks about the fact that her specialty is the Fujiwara armbar, and if you get locked in that, you're in trouble. It really wasn't a long match, though. It was literally Deonna Purrazzo hitting a pair of short-arm clotheslines on Shotzi. Shotzi getting a swinging net breaker, splashing Deonna Purrazzo in the corner and getting a bulldog, as well as a question mark kick for the cover. Not sure what the question mark kick is. Then she gets the lung blower, but rather than go for the cover from that, she goes up top and hits a senton. And that's it. She picks up the win. I don't really have an opinion on this too much. It was just one of those matches that's there to give Shotzi a win, to show her off to the universe a little bit. So I thought that it was pretty effective in that, and definitely served to get me more interested in Shotzi Blackheart. I don't know what her indie name was. I don't know what she was doing before this, but I'm actually really interested to see how she develops and what's going on. I really, really love the NXT women's division. It's just so stacked and full of great characters, and it's just so interesting. And so I gave this like a 4, just because it was effective and just achieved what it set out to do. Next up is our new NXT NA champion, Keith Lee, on his way down to the ring, and bloody hell is he over. Everyone in that arena was doing the Keith Lee, and the bask in his glory and the Keith Lee whoop whoop thing. Just, they were so into him, and it's really funny because as just a general NXT fan, I really enjoy it. I'm kind of into him, but then as an Undisputed Era fan, I'm just like, I'm just sort of bitter about it, and it just makes me mad. He gets down to the ring and he says that just a short while ago he told the 4 members of Undisputed Era that he was just trying to decide which title he wanted to take first, and he's proved that he's not just a game changer, he's a prophecy ender. he gets interrupted by Damian Priest, who comes out and says some of the weirdest shit ever. And he comes out and he says that he likes to take things that are interesting. If he sees something, he just takes it. Now that might be a group of hot women or priceless possessions, but he'll get it in the end. He always gets what he wants, and he just needs to know how Keith Lee is going to give him that title. And I was just like, what? Did he just say that? That's the most rapey thing I've ever heard in wrestling. This makes Damian Priest look like an absolute creep. Don't get me wrong, it made me laugh, but I was like, what? Did he really just say that? Like, a group of women, priceless possession. I'm going to put these two things in the same, like, in the same basket. I just couldn't believe that he came out and said it. I was like, oh no, I'm not rooting for you to win now. Dijakovic comes out. He says that him and Lee have been through the fair share of battles, some of the best. If anyone deserves the title, it's Keith Lee, but if anyone's gonna take it from him, face him for the first time, then it's gonna be Dijakovic. Those two clash, Keith Lee gets out of there, and Regal makes a match between Dijakovic and Priest. There was something in this match that really, really bothered me, and it came right at the beginning. So Dijakovic hits a pendulum backbreaker, then Priest fires back, gets a kick to the jaw, and ends up hitting the crucifix bomb on Dijakovic onto the apron, and then they cut to commercial, and I was like, what? Like, why are you doing that? Why? I just didn't get why they didn't go from when the match got made, a quick commercial break, and then when they come back the match is starting. They don't have to end that momentum, because Dijakovic getting hit with a crucifix bomb on the apron is like something that they should linger on, rather than, can Dijakovic recover? And then they just cut straight away. And they come back, Priest is firing back up, he gets a forearm, a clothesline, and a flatliner. Dijakovic gets a choke bomb, but Priest manages to kick out and get himself to the outside. Dijakovic hits an ass-eye moonsault and gets a big NXT chant. Priest hits a choke slam on Dijakovic. Dijakovic kicks out of that. There's a tope con hero by Damian Priest, and then both of them go for a cyclone kick, and we get a double down. Priest goes up to the top rope. Dijakovic goes to meet him, gives him a super kick, gets up on top with him, but Priest manages to counter, and he gets a poison rana, which Dijakovic kicks out of. However, not long after that, Dijakovic hits Feast Your Eyes and picks up the win, and I was happy, because I'm a big mark for Dominic Dijakovic, because for those of you who don't know, he did get back to me a few months ago via my direct messages on Twitter to give me a description of what he looked like and how he moves in the ring and what his attire is like, and ever since then I've just been a massive mark for him. Plus, you just can't root for someone to win who says the things that Damian Priest says. I just take what I want, I always get what I want. Pretty women, priceless possessions, I just take it. What? Priest? Stop it, man. And I just imagine all of his mates like, Damien, you need to stop, man. You're making yourself look really bad. But I always enjoy a Dijakovic match, and him versus Keith Lee is never a bad thing. The only thing that I sort of am hesitant about with it is that Keith Lee is going to have that title for a while, and if Dijakovic is the first person to face him, then it severely decreases the chances of Dijakovic being the one to take it off him, and that just makes me sad, because if Dijakovic manages to get through this year without getting hold of a championship, whether he finds himself a tag team partner or whether he gets that NXT NA championship, I just think it'd be an absolute travesty if he made it through 2020 without a title. Next up, Ciampa gets asked about William Regal making the decision on who faces Adam Cole at Takeover Portland tonight, and he responds by going and doing something that I'm not particularly sure what. Commentary went completely silent after a oh no. Then the crowd were just chanting, Daddy's home and Psycho Killer, and I just have no idea what was going on, but he said that he was making sure that Goldie comes home. Then he makes his way out to the ring. Cole also makes his way out and they argue. Cole is like, who do you think you are? And Ciampa is like, I'm Goldie's daddy. I'm not sure what I think about the daddy thing. It's like, I don't really get what the dynamic there is, because it's like, he doesn't talk about it like a daughter, he talks about it like a trinket, or I don't know, there's like, I feel like there's sort of sexual connotations with it, but I just don't know what I think about the daddy's home thing. I just find it a little bit cringy. But he promises Adam Cole, he said, you're going to walk down that aisle, walk up the steps, you're going to get in the ring, I'm going to whip your ass, and then I'm going to powerbomb you through the announce table. And that's exactly what happens. It's funny though, because William Regal comes out, he's like, I've just been in my office with Adam Cole. He doesn't care who he faces at Portland, and I was just on my way out here to give you the opportunity. But Cole just sort of interrupts him, starts talking trash to Ciampa. He makes his way in there, intent on fighting him, because Adam Cole is a fighting champion. I was expecting for him to be like, oh no, the other guys aren't here, so I'm just going to walk away. But no, he goes after Ciampa, and that just always makes me really appreciate Adam Cole as a champion, because he's a chicken shit. He's a horrible little slimy person, and at the same time, he backs up his actions. He will try and fight you, and I just think that's really cool. But Ciampa powerbombs him through the announce table just like he promised he would, and then he signs the contract, because Adam Cole had already signed it. So now we have Ciampa versus Cole at Takeover Portland being official. And I'm not sure where I'd go with this. If William Regal called me up tomorrow and he was like, Mason, please tell me what should I do with Takeover Portland? I'd be like, I don't know. I don't want Undisputed Era to lose all of the belts, but I don't know. It seems wrong to just have Cole lose it and then Fish and O'Reilly keep the tag team championships. I feel like if they're gonna have, if they're gonna have Cole lose, they need to just have it be. The Undisputed Era just need to be done. The Broserweights need to win the tag team titles at Portland, and Ciampa needs to take it off Cole, because I just think that it should be a Cole loses his championship last kind of thing. I do think that Ciampa will probably be the one to take it, though, just because he never lost it. He's got a lot of momentum. Everyone's behind him. Just worries me, because I don't know what becomes of Adam Cole at that point. Do the Undisputed Era break up? I don't want that to happen, but at the same time, Adam Cole versus Roderick Strong would be pretty cool as a little promo. Not a promo, as a little... as a feud. I don't know what word I was looking for there, but it'd be cool as a feud. And I think that the fallout of Undisputed Era could actually be a pretty interesting storyline. So yeah, I think I'd probably give it to Ciampa, but I'm really, really excited and looking forward to that match. Next is what could be the feud of the year if they really do this right. It's Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox in what was basically a non-match. It just broke down and became a brawl, and I really, really like that. I've got no complaints whatsoever. Tegan comes out, she just lobs a knee brace at DK's head and starts laying in shots. They start fighting on the outside, ref counts up to 6, they break the count, but Tegan gets nailed in the nose with a kick by Dakota Kai. The commentary's like, oh, that could have broken her nose. Tegan manages to send Dakota Kai face first into the ring post. She gives a release German suplex. DK wants to use a chair, but Candice LeRae comes out and stops her from doing that. This, however, allows Tegan to get the win, because she just nails DK with the knee brace again and then picks up the win. And I just have no problems with it whatsoever. Like, yeah, Tegan already has a win over Dakota Kai, but it wasn't exactly the cleanest win. She did hit the shiniest wizard. I don't know why I didn't say that. She nailed her with the knee brace, hit the shiniest wizard, and picks up the win. But I'm really glad that they had this initial skirmish between them, because when they eventually have the full-on takeover match, maybe at Portland, this is going to be really great, and I just hope that they can do the full Ciampa Gargano storyline with them. This could just go on for ages and be a really intense story about two friends that just cannot stand each other anymore. And unfortunately, the way that circumstances worked out, DIY get along now. It's just sort of a forgotten thing, and I wish that it wasn't, because Ciampa and Gargano could easily have been the enemies that just hate each other. They could have just been lifelong enemies now. Like, after what happened, they just can't get back on the same page, but they have. And so hopefully they can push this Dakota Kai Tegan Knox feud to that point where we aren't coming back together. We're not friends anymore. Too much has happened. Too much has got done. At the end minute, they're both just trying to injure each other. They want to take each other out of the equation. It's gone beyond being, I want to win. This is, I want to write you off. I want to end your career. And it could just be a really, really intense feud if they get it right. And it seems like they're going down the right path. I've got faith in them, and I'm just really excited to see where this goes at Takeover Portland. Another really quick women's match next. It's Chelsea Green versus Kaden Carter, and it was just another really, really short one. Chelsea Green comes out, hits a drop kick. She boots Carter in the face, sends her face first into the turnbuckles. Carter manages to get a roll up. She gets a quesadora, another quick cover. Chelsea Green gives her a big boot to the face, and then Carter manages to roll her up and picks up the win. Nice to see Kaden Carter pick up a win. She's been one of those people that just faces... in fact, I actually think commentary brought this up in terms of Morrow saying that she faced NXT's Killer Row with Mia Yim, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, and I think she probably said a few other people, but the point still stands that she's faced some of the toughest people, and she usually is the one coming out on the bottom, and it's nice to see her actually get a bit of a win. Shocked that Chelsea Green lost in such a quick fashion, but I don't think that her story is I am best wrestler at the minute. It is I'm the hottest previously free agent, not free anymore. She's under the Robert Stone brand, and at the minute the gimmick is about that rather than her in-ring prowess. And is Kaden Carter going to get like a title shot? Probably not, but it's always good to start building up another star, and who knows where she could be in a couple of months. So yeah, we've come to main event time. It's the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Final between the Grizzled Young Veterans and the Broserweights. Just didn't really think that we were going to be here until when they first announced the brackets. I thought it was going to end up being Imperium versus Undisputed Era. They did that at Worlds Collide, so they didn't really need to do it, but I for sure felt that the Grizzled Young Veterans would be early round knockouts, first round actually, and I thought that Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle might do well, but I didn't think that we'd get this final, and I was really, really excited for it, because I love Zach Gibson, because he's just so... he's just so good on the mic, and he's got such a good character, and you love to hate him, and he creates this atmosphere that no one else does. The American crowd were doing the NWO version of the shoes off thing. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. It just makes me laugh every time they do it. It's like, just stop, you can't do it, so stop. But this was a really, really great match. It was back and forth, and it was fast, and lots happened that was hard to keep up with, but I actually really enjoyed it and thought that Morrow did a damn good job. Early on, the Broserweights get stomps in stereo, and then Drake and Riddle are going at it. Riddle's expecting Drake, but it's Gibson that nails him with the clothesline. Riddle manages to start firing back, gets a cavalcade of crushing kicks and a gut-wrench suplex. They both get sent spilling to the outside. Pete hurts his shoulder. Grizzled Young Veterans take advantage of that by shoving him shoulder first into the turnbuckle. Riddle, still on fire, hits a forearm, an exploded suplex, a Broton, a PK, an Everest-style German suplex. He gets Drake with the spear, gives Gibson a bro hammer, and then Pete follows up with a powerbomb onto the knee for a cover. Grizzled young veterans get a basket toss bomb, whatever that is. Riddle answers with a deadlift bomb, knee strike, and rolls through into the cover, but Drake manages to kick out. Then Riddle hits a Broton and a brainbuster, but Drake kicks out of that. Riddle hits 2 more Brotons, but Drake manages to sneak off a DDT, and he looks to tag in Zach Gibson. This is when Pete Dunne and Zach Gibson both tag in at the same time. They come in, start kicking the shit out of each other. Pete gets the upper hand, stomps on Gibson's digits, and then the Broserweights lock in a double ankle lock. Grizzled young vets get a ticket to ride, and I absolutely thought it was over, but Pete kicks out and gets locked in the Shankly gates for his troubles. Then Riddle and... oh god, I've absolutely lost it here. I had to go and check my notes on that because I absolutely lost it. But Drake launches himself and gets caught. He gets powerbombed onto Gibson. Then we get this spot that was probably the only time that Morrow really let us down the whole time, which was Pete getting put in the electric chair position and something happens and Morrow screams "Mamma Mia," the crowd goes crazy, and I just have no idea what happened. Whatever happened, though, mustn't have been too devastating because the Broserweights hit a combo move, then they get a senton moonsault combo, and then they get the pop-up sternum kick for the win. And I was just really happy but not surprised either, because as much as I would have liked Grizzled Young Veterans to win this, they just didn't really stand much chance. And I think we've already seen them versus Undisputed Era in this tournament, so it'll be cool to see the Broserweights versus them at TakeOver Portland. I actually think that it'd be a pretty good idea if they're going to have Cole lose to Ciampa to have Pete and Matt pick up the win, just because if you're going to have one member of the Undisputed Era lose the title, then you should just have them all lose it at the same time, so that it's not like a this person gets blamed kind of thing. But I thought this match was really, really good. It was fast hitting and back and forth, and I just really, really enjoyed it. Overall, then, a pretty decent episode of NXT. The Finn stuff was really great. The women's matches were a bit short, but they served a purpose. The Dijakovic and Damian Priest match was alright, but the real bookends of the show, the Finn Balor match and this main event match, were really the standouts and were the thing that made it worth watching, because otherwise it could have been a pretty average week of NXT. But I'd say that I'd give it a low 5 out of 6. I've seen far better, but I also think that it was a damn strong week. Well, let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments section or on me. Let me try that again. I don't know why my tongue has just completely stopped working. Let me know what you thought of this match in the commentary section or on Twitter at Mason_WITD. And if you've enjoyed this episode, feel free to subscribe and like and come back for more Wrestling in the Dark. But for now, I'm off, and you should have a good one.